A black woman was pulled over by a racist cop because he thinks she fits the description of a suspect. What happens next is shocking. Before we continue, kindly subscribe to our channel Narrated Audio Tales, like and share this video. Maya, a young African-American woman, drove her sleek black sedan, focusing on her own affairs as she journeyed home after a lengthy day at work. Anticipation welled within her to share the delightful news with her parents regarding the successful deal she had just closed at her workplace. Her boss had assured her of a percentage from the deal, acknowledging her diligent efforts in persuading the client to invest in their company. However, an unexpected event interrupted her thoughts on her way home. As fate would have it, the flashing red and blue lights pierced through her rearview mirror, accompanied by the blaring sound of a police siren. Maya's heart raced as she cautiously pulled over to the side of the road, pondering what she could have possibly done wrong. She had always been a law-abiding citizen, never even receiving a parking ticket in her life. Stepping out of the patrol car, Officer Thompson approached Maya's vehicle with an aura of authority. His stern countenance and penetrating gaze sent a shiver down Maya's spine as he demanded to see her license and registration. Confusion and fear swirled within Maya as she complied, her hands trembling slightly as she handed over the documents. "I'm sorry, officer, but may I inquire as to why I was pulled over?" Maya inquired, her voice steady despite the mounting anxiety within her. Officer Thompson's gaze hardened as he scrutinized Maya, a sneer forming on his face. "You fit the description of a suspect we're looking for, ma'am. A black woman driving a black sedan," he replied coldly, his words dripping with venomous prejudice that ignited Maya's indignation. "But officer, merely driving a black sedan doesn't make me a suspect. It could be anyone," Maya retorted. "I am the law here. If I say you fit the description of a suspect, that's final. You can't tell me how to do my job," Officer Thompson barked back, his tone dismissive and authoritative. Before Maya could rebut, a young rookie officer named Mark, who had been observing the unfolding scene from a distance, approached Officer Thompson. His eyes blazed with anger and disbelief at the unjust treatment being inflicted upon Maya, an innocent civilian. "Sir, with all due respect, this is wrong. You can't possibly accuse her. We both know she's not the suspect we are looking for. She doesn't fit the description. Yes, she's driving a black sedan, but the description is of a white female teenager in her early 20s. How does she fit that description, sir?" Mark interjected firmly. "Do you expect me to answer that question? If you don't have anything better to say, then stand there and watch me do my job. These kinds of people are always suspect," Officer Thompson snapped back, his tone laced with disdain. "So you just assumed she's a suspect based on her skin color?" Mark challenged, his voice unwavering. Officer Thompson's face darkened at Mark's interruption. "I can see you don't have anything better to say, rookie. I won't let you interrupt me again. Now shut up and watch me do my job," he ordered tersely. During the heated exchange between Officer Thompson and Mark, Maya seized the opportunity to discreetly reach for her phone, her fingers deftly dialing a familiar number as she pressed the device to her ear. "Dad, I've been pulled over by a cop," she explained urgently, her voice tinged with frustration. "He said I fit the description of a suspect because I'm driving a black sedan. I've tried to make him see reason that I'm not a suspect, but he won't listen. Please, if you're not too busy, I need you to come down here. It's only a 5-minute drive from the station. I really need your help." "What?" "Wait, listen to me, dear. Just cooperate with the officer and do as he asks. I'll be there in a few minutes," Maya's dad reassured her before ending the call abruptly, swiftly leaving his office to rush to his daughter's aid. Few minutes later, Officer Thompson returned to Maya's window, his demeanor even more hostile than before. "Step out of the car, now. I need to conduct a full search," he demanded, his tone leaving no room for argument. As Maya complied, her heart pounding in her chest, a black SUV pulled up behind the patrol car, its headlights piercing the dimming twilight. Out stepped a man in a pristine police uniform, his features sharp and authoritative. It was Captain Jackson, the head of the police department and Maya's adoptive father. "Dad!" Maya exclaimed loudly as she caught sight of her father. The shock on Officer Thompson's face was palpable as recognition dawned upon him. His eyes widened in disbelief as he realized the gravity of his actions, the realization hitting him like a ton of bricks. Captain Jackson strode forward, his expression unreadable as he assessed the unfolding situation before him. "Officer Thompson, care to explain what's going on here?" Captain Jackson's voice was calm, but there was a steely edge to it that brooked no defiance. Officer Thompson stammered, his arrogance crumbling in the face of his superior. I thought she matched the suspect description, sir," he managed to utter, his eyes darting nervously between Maya and Captain Jackson. "But how come she's your daughter? You're white, sir, and she's black. I don't seem to understand the whole thing," Officer Thompson asked, his confusion evident. "She's my daughter. She has always been, ever since the day my wife and I adopted her into our home. We have loved and cared for her, and she has brought us so much joy and happiness in our lives," Captain Jackson explained solemnly. Thompson was dumbfounded upon hearing this, his face contorted with shame as he hung his head in disgrace, facing the ground. Captain Jackson's gaze turned towards Maya, a look of concern softening his features. "Maya, are you all right? Did he harm you in any way?" he asked, his voice gentle yet firm. Tears welled up in Maya's eyes as she shook her head, the relief of her father's presence washing over her like a comforting embrace. "I'm okay, Dad. He just pulled me over for no reason," she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion. Captain Jackson's jaw clenched at the injustice his daughter had faced, and he turned back to Officer Thompson, his eyes ablaze with righteous anger. "Officer Thompson, consider this a formal reprimand. Such behavior will not be tolerated in this department. I expect a full report on my desk first thing tomorrow morning," he declared, his voice cutting through the tension like a knife. Officer Thompson nodded meekly, his earlier bravado replaced by a palpable sense of shame. As Maya was given the all-clear to leave, she took one last look at Officer Thompson, her eyes filled with a mix of pity and disappointment. As she drove away, the city lights twinkling like stars in the night sky, Maya couldn't help but feel a sense of hope and gratitude. In the face of adversity, her father had stood by her, a beacon of strength and unwavering support. And as they drove into the night, father and daughter, a bond forged in love and shared experiences, emerged stronger than ever before. As Thompson stood in shame, Mark stepped out of the car. "You see what your racial prejudice has caused you? I told you to let her go, but you insisted she was a suspect when there's no evidence. I hope others too will learn a lesson from this. What if her dad was not the police captain? Is this how you would arrest an innocent lady who hasn't committed a crime because of her skin color?" "You're a bad cop," Mark said as he walked away from Officer Thompson. Officer Thompson stood in silence, his gaze fixed on the ground, consumed by the weight of his actions. The words of Captain Jackson and Mark lingered heavily in the air, stirring a mix of remorse and realization within him. In the following days, the incident reverberated throughout the police department and the local community. It sparked conversations about racial bias and accountability within law enforcement, prompting a renewed commitment to fairness and justice. As for Officer Thompson, he faced disciplinary action for his actions, including a formal reprimand from Captain Jackson and likely additional consequences such as suspension, reassignment to a different role within the department. Additionally, the incident had been documented in his personnel file, potentially affecting his career advancement or reputation within the department. What do you think about this story? Leave a comment below this video. Subscribe, like, and share. Thanks.